In other news, the economic freedom fighters have vowed to take action should Stellenbosch University fail to act with urgency following at least two incidents of alleged racism at the institution. In one case, which we've all been talking about this week, we saw that video, that white student urinating on the belongings of a black student. He's since been suspended, Tiens du Toit. In the second case, a black female student is said to have faced racial abuse verbally days earlier. For more on this, we're joined by the EFF's Student Command President, Mandla Shikwambana. Mandla, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for coming in. So when you say you want the institution to act with urgency, what would that look like?
Thank you very much, Tembegile. And also let me take this opportunity and greet your listeners. You know, we are very much worried as the EFF Students Command because we represent students in the institutions of higher learning, and it is unfortunate that we are sitting here today with cases of this nature, particularly happening in the Stellenbosch, and then where we see white students behaving in the manner in which they are behaving towards black students. And that as an organization that is mainly representing students, which are black people in majority in our institutions of higher learning, by the way, across the country. We want to make it clear, and we want to say that we're not going to tolerate any manner or any behavior of a certain race behaving in that manner to undermine another race just because there are differences in terms of colors, just like that. So we are saying as the EFF Student Command that we know the institution, they are intending to take actions. One of the actions that they've taken is that today they actually charged the guy, the white boy, who urinated in the properties of another black student, which is said to be a first year. That issue, we are saying that the suspicion as the EFF Students Command is not enough, because that guy just invaded the house and the privacy of a student, a first year for that matter, traumatizing that first year student, bringing another experience to say, if you are a first year student, you are going to be treated like this, particularly by white students or your other counterparts. So what we are saying is that we want to see the institution taking a drastic decision to an extent of expelling that white boy who behaved in that manner.
The family of Babalo Ndwayana, whose belongings were urinated on over the weekend, I saw an article where the father was saying that what they want now is for Tiens du Toit, in fact, if he is expelled from Stellenbosch, to be banned from all other universities in the country. Would that be enough action for the EFF?
Of which we agree with. Not only just you have to suspend and expel. That boy must not be allowed to register in any institution of higher learning in South Africa. And we are following that matter very close as the EFF Students Command. We have given our branch in the Stellenbosch a mandate to actually look into that matter very closely. And if anything that is going to happen and end into suspension, then we're going to take actions. And you know when we mean what we mean when we say actions.
What do you mean? Because what if at the end of the process he's given another sanction and not necessarily expelled by the university?
Then that is, that university will be shut down until they take the right decision. Because this guy, he did not undermine an individual per se. This guy went to an extent of undermining the whole African people in the entire continent, to an extent that they even make remarks that which are unacceptable and are racist remarks. So we are saying that that boy must be expelled, and when he's expelled, not only to say that he's going to be expelled in Stellenbosch, therefore he can go and register with another institution. We are saying he must be expelled and denied an opportunity to be registered in any institutions of higher learning in South Africa. Like what they are doing when they are giving students F7s in universities when they are not performing very well. To say you are not going to allow to register with any institution of higher learning for the next 2 years. That guy, in fact, for the next 20 years, he must not be allowed to register with any institution of higher learning in South Africa.
Let's have a broader conversation about race and racism at South African universities. Every once in a while, every year, every 2 years or so, there is a major incident, it's followed by outrage, and then we move on. What needs to happen to address it at a more longer-term level that's not necessarily a response to one occasion or one incident of abuse?
You know, Temegile, you must check. There's a trend in these things. They are not only happening in the institutions of higher learning. They start from high schools. They start from primary level. And when these kids graduate from high school going to universities, they go with that behavior while when they go to universities. Already they have got that tendency to say a black student or a black learner needs to be viewed as one person who's just inferior like that, and you can do anything you want about a black child. So we are calling on for our government also. And then we've got also even other organizations, your human rights commissions, that which are there to protect the rights of people of South Africa. But we are seeing these people, they just speak following the event that which is happening. So we are calling on our government, but which we know, a lazy government for that matter, nothing is going to happen, because there are many issues which are happening in South Africa. This government is not taking any drastic decisions into making sure that they resolve those issues. So we are saying to the government, they must zoom in and make sure that they bring about a clear indication and a clear and a drastic decisions that if you do this, that which goes to be racial, if we view it or before the eyes of people is racial. Therefore, there should be a penalty of some sort, that which is actually even been endorsed by the government itself. And we know this government of today, they're not going to do anything. And if they don't do anything with this case, as I said before, that we are looking at this matter very close, and if anything is not going to happen into this matter, we are going to make sure that not only Stellenbosch, because these racist acts are not happening only in Stellenbosch. They are also happening in other institutions of higher learning. We are going to make sure that all these other universities as well, we close all of them, and until one comes out to say, I'm prepared and ready to make sure that we want to fight for this guy.
Quick final one, because we're out of time, Mandla.
Yes.
I want to go back to Babalo's case. He has now lodged a complaint with police, right? The university suspended Tiens, who urinated on his belongings. An investigation is underway. But Babalo's picture is all over the media, on TV, in newspapers, online, right? And once this dies down, some people have raised the concern about the kind of treatment that he's going to receive and whether he will indeed be targeted by other people post this. So he's going to need long-term support and protection. Would you agree?
Of course, I agree. And then that protection, you will always get it from us. We can guarantee that, because it's also, you are correct, that we can't have a situation where two people are involved in a event of some sort of that nature, and then it's only one person that we only see flying on social networks, flying on social media, and all those type of things. What about the other guy, which is white person for that matter? So we are saying that the protection, of course, that guy will need the protection, the poor guy. And let me take this opportunity and say, I want to applaud that boy. The black student who was actually being treated in the manner that he was being treated, to go to an extent of even opening a case against this racist act done by the white boy. Because there was a time at point where they say the guy you want to forgive, right, the white guy, he doesn't want to do, but he took a decision to say, I'm going to open the case. So we want to say, as a student command, we are happy he has opened the case against racism, and therefore all of us together, we must fight making sure that justice is served to this case of this guy.
Mandla Shikwambana, President of the EFF Student Command, good to have your time as always. Thank you, sir.